Hi guys, Karen here with another video, and today I am making a simple pasta with sun-dried tomato pesto. So, I know you're looking at the tomatoes like, Karen, they're not sun-dried. No, that's step one. So I'm gonna quickly show you here in this video the process that I go through turning these amazing tomatoes into sun-dried tomatoes. And then following up with that, I'm going to make a tomato pesto, a sun-dried tomato pesto using them. And like really this is from garden to table. So for this video, you're going to need, so for right now, for this part of the video, you're going to need, for sun-dried tomatoes, I should say. For the sun-dried tomatoes, you're going to need whatever tomato you're going to use. Try to make sure they're along the same size. These are cherry tomatoes, but just different types from the garden. Aren't they beautiful? Oh my goodness. Anyway, you're going to need some dried basil or dried herbs. So in here I have basil, thyme, and oregano. You're going to need some olive oil. These are items from the garden today. And you're going to need a place to dry them out. And so let's get started with slicing these in half first. Okay, to this you're going to add some salt. This brings out the sweetness of the tomato. I'm going to add some dried herbs. Like I said, this is basil, some oregano and thyme. This is dried from the garden from last year. And then you're going to add your olive oil. A generous amount, and then you're going to make sure all of this is mixed together. While you're mixing this together, preheat your oven to 250 degrees to get it nice and heated, and wait for it to be set at 250. Until then, make sure all of your tomatoes are nice and coated. I think these are, and I'm going to add them to my skillet here. You can use a cooking sheet if you like, lined with parchment paper. So this is what it looks like prior to going into the oven. And like I said, you're going to heat your oven to 250 degrees, and you're going to put this in, and you're going to leave it and check on it for the next 2.5 to 3 hours. You're just basically going to make sure that they don't burn. And yes, you can say, Karen, yours are too close together. I did it the last time. It was fine. No worries. So I'm going to check back in with you guys and show you what it looks like when it's all done. This is what the sun-dried tomatoes look like after they have been in the oven for 3 hours. So they look really good. I'm going to let them sit right here for a second before I'm going to let them cool down because I just pulled them out. And I'm going to put them into a jar with some olive oil. And remember, when you have make your own sun-dried tomatoes, if you put it in olive oil, you only want it to sit in the olive oil for 4 days because it doesn't have any preservatives. So now we're going to move on to the tomato pesto, the sun-dried tomato pesto. Okay, so we're back. So today, this is day 2. Here are the sun-dried tomatoes from yesterday that I made on yesterday. They look so good, so I'm going to use them today. It's funny because, you know, I just made them and it took so long to make, and now I'm just going to use all of them. So it's kind of crazy, but anyway. Okay, but I picked some more tomatoes this morning. I need more than that, but I can make it again. No worries. Anyway, so for the sun-dried tomato pesto, you're going to need 1/4 cup of walnuts. You can use, if you have pine nuts, you can use that as well, or almonds. You're going to need some sun-dried tomatoes. You're going to need at least 1 cup of basil, fresh basil. You're going to need 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. That's what this is, Karen, come on. And then you're going to need some salt, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and whatever noodle or whatnot. Oh, you're going to need some olive oil. And if you're going to add any Parmesan to it, I'll let you know when to add that in. But this will, oh, thank you. And you're going to need 3 cloves of garlic. I added an extra clove because I like garlic. Okay, so like I said, if you want to add a dairy Parmesan to it, or you can add nutritional yeast, or you can add whatever cheese that you like, I'm going to let you know when to add that in. So I have my walnuts in here because that's the first thing that needs to be ground up. But today I'm going to use my new Dutch oven, and the new meaning that's what it's called. I'm not saying it's new. I'm just saying it's the new Dutch oven. And anyway, I'm going to get the water boiling because making this pesto is not going to take very long at all. It'll likely be done before the noodles are ready. So I'm just going to get this pot boiling, and so that the noodles and pesto are ready about the same time. So let's get into it. So the first thing is you're just going to start mashing and grinding this up. So I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. I forgot to say, you do not have to use a mortar and pestle. You can use your food processor. This is what the walnuts look like after I've ground them. Now I'm going to add, you can add it in whatever order you like, but I'm going to add some of the pepper. Just a little bit more. And I'm going to add the garlic to this. And I'm going to mash that and show you what that looks like. To this, I'm going to add the basil, a little bit at a time. And the salt. And I'm going to mash this and show you what it looks like. Okay, so now I'm going to add, if you're going to add any dairy, sorry, I tasted it just a little bit. If you're going to add any dairy, go ahead and add that now. Or nutritional yeast, yeah. So any, or you can add like a vegan Parmesan and right now. And then I'm also going to add the tomatoes, and I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll be all done. Anyway, so, okay, so this is the sun-dried tomato pesto. It tastes really, really good. I'm sure if you used store-bought tomatoes, it'll probably be a lot redder. But as you can see, these are with the homemade tomatoes, and it tastes delicious. See, make sure you taste as you go. There's nothing worse than unseasoned food. So or under seasoning or over seasoning. So make sure that you're tasting as you go, and so that you don't end up with something that you cannot eat. But this is the the sun-dried tomato pesto. This tastes delicious, and I will show you guys what the pasta looks like when it's done. This is the final product with the pasta. I have sampled it, and guys, it is absolutely delicious. If you're looking for some garden to table recipes, this has to be on your list of things to make. It's really simple. The sun-dried tomato pesto took probably about 10 minutes to just mix. The longest part was just using the mortar and pestle. However, if you put that in a food processor, it's going to take seconds. So, you know, I just enjoy I don't know I just like working with different tools in the kitchen and what have you. And also this gives me another way to use all of the items in my garden and incorporate that into the kitchen. So, oh, and if you're asking about the bowl, this is Mason Cash in a green color. Yeah, so I hope you get a chance to try it. And it's really delicious, really simple, and really quick. Yeah, you don't have to buy the pesto in the jar, guys. You can make it yourselves if you can. So, and if you don't have fresh basil at home, they sell little packs of it at different grocery stores and whatnot, so you can pick that up as well. And this would be a great recipe to make sure, like, back in the past, I used to buy those and then they would go bad because I didn't have anything to use them for, but now you have a recipe that you can use it for. So I hope you find this recipe helpful, and let me know in the comments what you think. Have you had this before? Have you tried making your own sun-dried tomatoes? Are you going to? Because I'm nosy. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.